So in this video, we're going to talk about how to understand your attachment style, how to figure out what your attachment style is, and how this really affects you and your relationships. We'll start off by talking about the 3 to 4 different attachment styles, and then we'll go in a little bit into the sources of how people develop or start to have those attachment styles. I'll give some examples and then talk about how I personally came to have more of a secure attachment type. So let's start there. Secure attachment style. I like to describe this as you really welcome love openly. You're trusting, you don't hide certain parts of yourself, and you have a very secure sense of self and secure sense in who you are in that relationship and the relationship as a whole. Anxious attachment style, you have a tendency to think that your partner might leave you, fear of abandonment. You might think that you're not good enough, and this may lead to you needing reassurance kind of more frequently. And if you're interested a little bit more on these feelings and this topic, be sure to check out my video on jealousy, which I will plug here in the corner. On the opposite end of that spectrum from anxious attachment is avoidant attachment. So this happens when you start to feel any sort of level of attachment. You start to create distance. You want to ensure that no one really ever gets too close to you. You have a hard time showing others how you truly feel, and you kind of think that you're better off alone. And I said at the beginning of the video that there's 3 to 4. It really just depends on what school of thought you belong to or what research you're looking at. But for the un momento, I have a knock at the door. I need to let my associate in. My associate. Okay, come on. You sausage boy. Come here. Booby, come here. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, why are you wet? Dogs are like children. Yeah, so if you follow the school of thought of 4 different attachment styles, the 4th attachment style would be fearful attachment. And that's really kind of a combination of anxious and avoidant, and there's really no reliable pattern here. And after hearing these 4 different types, I'm sure that you would like to identify more with the secure attachment type. I think that's normal, but also know that if any of the other attachment styles resonates with you and your personality type in a relationship, know that you are not alone, because the statistic floating around is that only really 50% of people naturally have a secure attachment type. So the other 50%, the other half of the world, we're either lone wolves or, the clingy ones in the relationship. So it's not a bad thing, it's normal. And there are a lot of different reasons why we develop the kinds of attachment styles that we have. You could source it from your relationship with your parents, that sort of dynamic that you had as a child. Maybe you were smothered as a child, and maybe that's why whenever someone shows you love or affection, you kind of brush it off, which would make you more avoidant. Maybe we were very reliant on our caretakers growing up, and they really didn't deliver in a certain way, which would make us more anxious. Or maybe in previous relationships where we show our true colors, so to speak, and express how we really feel, and we weren't either reciprocated or our needs weren't met. That could also lead to avoidance. Or maybe you were like me, where there's a combination of both, and we could call it fearful, for example. About a year or 2 ago, I was actually, what am I talking about? I was this person earlier this year. I was a person that really craved love and affection, but whenever I started to develop feelings for attachment, like just a smidge, just an ounce of attachment for a certain person, I just wanted to bounce. I wanted out because I was just so afraid of getting hurt again. So after my last relationship, I was serially attached. I was a serial dater where I literally almost fell in love like 4 times within a year. And that was just emotionally exhausting. And then from there, of course, this all happened in Vegas nonetheless. And then from there, I went on a dating hiatus. I went on a man cleanse for 6 months because I just really needed to be alone. But it's only natural as a human to crave, attention, affection, touch, human contact. So I put myself back out there. I had this plan. I had this plan that I thought would be foolproof, that I would only, kind of see people that I liked enough to be around, but I didn't like enough to be in a relationship with. So I would be friends with benefits. So I would create, in my mind, a safe distance that way, where I don't want to be in a relationship with this person, but they're nice to have around and just to keep company. And it's just going to be a temporary thing until I find someone I actually want to be in a relationship with. And this plan absolutely failed. And then I also realized that even though I told myself that yes, I'm available, I'm seeing someone on the side, but I'm available, that time and that energy that I was giving to this friends with benefits, it just was taking, honestly, even though I told myself it wasn't, it was taking away from the energy and the time and the opportunity that I could have been putting out, sending vibes out into the world, of finding my actual person. So the whole friends with benefits cycle just kind of happened over and over, where I was like, you know what, I want to put myself back out there, but just a little bit of myself. I'm not gonna get hurt, but I got hurt anyway, so it was just a mess. But what the first step was in figuring this all out was acknowledging that I was a bit of a mess, acknowledging what kind of attachment type I tended to gravitate to. So I took a few tests, I did a few readings. I will post a link down below if you are interested in finding what your attachment type is. But really the first step here is understanding what your attachment style is, what your default is, what you tend to default to. Obviously, I just said default. Having this level of understanding will help you to, in the moment, recognize certain patterns of behavior and be able to tell yourself, okay, well, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling avoidant, or I'm feeling fearful right now. Communicate that to yourself. And if you have a goal to get to more of a secure attachment type, communicating that to yourself and then communicating that to your partner that, hey, I'm feeling, anxious or avoidant. Here is what I need as support from you right now. So for example, though I have more of a secure attachment type right now, if I have flashbacks from, previous relationships, if something that happens that is triggering for me, for example, my partner just left for a deployment and I was feeling really anxious, and that really kind of reflected in my thoughts and my behaviors in the relationship, I would communicate that and be like, hey, can I talk to you? This is what I'm thinking right now. And my partner was really, really great in asking what I needed for support. But yeah, whenever I felt anxious, I would think of really any possible thing that could go wrong, like cheating, breaking up, not thinking I'm good enough. And that's literally when I would tell my partner that I would need words of affirmation to get me to a more secure mindset in the realm of the relationship. I go more into words of affirmation and the different love languages in another video, which I will link up in the corner. So on top of getting words of affirmation from my partner, I also give words of affirmation to myself, from myself. I tell myself that my current partner is not my past partner, and that I am this beautiful, bountiful being that, can really do bad all by myself. I can find comfort in knowing that, at the end of the day, I will always have me, and I will always have a solid relationship with myself to fall back on. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here, and I very much hope that this was helpful and that you are doing well and that you will end 2020 nice, warm, and cozy, and safely being able to rest and relax and recharge before the start of the new year. So I will talk to you later. Bye.